What is the dawn phenomena and what does it has to do with meal timing? First, I want to talk about meal timing. In diabetes, as in life, timing is everything. What do I mean by that as according to meals? You as a diabetic, but even as non-diabetic, would want to not eat first thing in the morning, as they used to say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But instead of that, you will want to start to eat after some hours from waking up. It can be 2 hours or 3 hours. It's basically in the time that you feel that you completely awaken and that you start to feel the first hunger coming and itching in your stomach. That's the meaning of real hunger in the morning and the first hunger of the day. It should be as natural as it can be, and you shouldn't force yourself to eat breakfast. So you would want to get as far as at least 2 hours from the time of waking up with the first thing that you eat. Of course, you can drink liquids in the time and water or whatever. Good sourced water, preferably filtered water. And then the next important timing of the day is to stop eating 4 hours before going to bed. That will give us a predictable night and later on a predictable morning, of course. Now, what the dawn phenomena has to do with all of that? The dawn phenomena, a term that's being used a lot by the great Dr. Bernstein, is actually a very natural mechanism in the body that happens in every human body and in every mammal in nature, which it means that the body wants to start the day and to give all the hormonal support to the body in order to do that. So some stress hormones called epinephrine and others, are released first thing in the morning, in the first hours of the morning, and they give the body the first push in order to start the day. And that's what's called also feet on the ground. Our body does that in order to give everything it needs to the system, so it can start the day on the best way with a lot of energy. And all of these hormones and the chain reaction of them causing the blood sugar to rise. Because of stress hormones, that's actually what they do in nature. They cause the blood glucose to rise. But in a non-diabetic, what will happen is a healthy reaction of the pancreas with insulin, secreted insulin, that will decrease the spike in blood glucose. And by that, a non-diabetic person who is metabolically healthy will not see any rise in the blood glucose. But us as diabetics, especially type 1 diabetics, will need to cover that with insulin or to minimize that to the minimum, as much as we can. That we will do with these factors. We will have to stop eating soon in the day, as soon as possible, and preferably at least 4 hours before going to bed. In that way, we will not have any proteins or any fats or any fibers in the next morning that the leftovers of the last meal in last night are still being processed by our digestion system, and we will make sure that we have the most stable time of waking up. And some diabetics even find that they have to add an extra bolus in the morning of insulin, injected insulin, in order to cover the spike in blood glucose due to the dawn phenomena. So it's very individual and each one of you have to find it out, but this is important in order to minimize the dawn phenomena effect. We have to stop eating as soon as we can and wait with the first meal at least 2 hours when we wake up. And when we become more professional with that and we will be very balanced for a very long time, we will see that we can feel when the dawn phenomena is ending. It will be parallel to the time when we start to feel the first hunger of the day. It makes sense. Then it means that the body has finished waking up completely and is now ready to start the day and to get energy from the outside. Energy means food. But it will take time for us to actually feel it, and at least at the beginning, we would like to be very strict and wait 2 hours in the morning and 4 hours before going to bed. That is my guidelines for meal timing. As the structure of the meal, we would like to eat most of our nutrients and most of our food volume for the day until noon, until 2 or 3 p.m. And then we want to gradually decrease the amount of food eaten. So in the evening, dinner will be more a kind of symbolic dinner. Not a kind that has to fill us up or make us feel completely full, but it's more like between a snack and a meal. It can be some variation of eggs with a tuna fish, eggs with some meat leftovers, but not anything that will make us feel really full. By that, we can go to a predictable night, blood glucose wise, and to a predictable morning, over and over again, each day, all over again. That is the secret. You should eat like a king in the beginning of the day, not in the 2 hours after waking up, but after that. Eat as a king. When the day goes on and on, you should eat as a prince in the evening. It was a grandma sentence that is still true for today, and today even more than ever, when we discover that this is the secret for metabolic health, longevity, and balancing our own blood glucose. These are the principles. Meal timing. Eat most of the food in the first part of the day, and avoid the dawn phenomena.